Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Saxe. It is May the 22nd, 2022. Thank God. And we're so glad you're here. Joining us back online also. Welcome back. So let's just take a moment and center. Let's just breathe. And let's just feel the presence of that living, loving God. The very air that you breathe, bringing that life in and through you. With every cleansing breath, acknowledging this brand new day, full of possibilities, the unwritten page. And so we lay our cares aside for this time. Our cares and concerns, as we breathe in fresh life, fresh possibilities, new ideas, new ways of healing. We open our hearts and our minds, our spirits, our vision, and we release all else in this time. Thank you, God, for this time together. We cleanse and we renew. And together, let's sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. It's within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's there, let me. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's error, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. So this is from The Healing of the Planet Earth, written by the wonderful Alan Cohen. And it says, what to do in a raging river. Two men were walking to a neighboring town when both of them fell in a raging river. One man panicked and feverishly attempted to buck the torrents in a struggle to make his way back to shore. In his resistance, the river overcame him and he drowned. The other man decided not to fight the flow, and so he relaxed, laid back to the best of his ability, and allowed the river to carry him. Eventually, the river deposited him on a calm shore, where he found himself in the town toward which he had been walking. We are boatmen on the river of life, learning to navigate and enjoy the trip from the source to the ocean. At times, it may seem that we do not have much choice about where or how swiftly the river is flowing, but we always have the power to steer our boat. We can direct our vessel in opposition to the current, or we can go with the power of the tide and use it to our advantage. The choice is ours. The chief characteristic of the river is that it is always alive in the moment. If you are flowing with it, we are one with the force that empowers it. You must become one with the force, Yoda told Luke Skywalker.
Good morning, everyone. And today's inspirational moment, 365 Science of Mind, the word is love. I know that there is but one power in the universe, and that power is God. That power manifests in and through all forms, all people, all conditions, and so it is at the very center of my being. This power is life itself, and its nature is love, all good. I know that just as light dissipates darkness, just as heat warms the atmosphere, so a consciousness of good overcomes evil. I know that good constitutes the only power, presence, and law, and the knowledge of good, which is the knowledge of love, overcomes evil, dissipates it, obliterates it, and blots it out. I refuse to think of hate or any negation as power, and I know that it will flee from me. Its dissolution is its flight. It disappears. Hate cannot exist where love is recognized. Knowing that good alone is real, I turn the searchlight of eternal truth upon every so-called evil in my experience. And these dark places of imagination are instantly dissolved into light. The dissolution of evil is complete. The manifestation of good is perfect. I know that love protects its own. I know that love now makes clear the way before me, eliminating everything that likes hate. It eliminates everything that looked like hate. I am guided into an ever-widening unfoldment of being, and my every thought, feeling, and act is an expression of God's nature, love through me. Continuously, I overcome hate with love. And if you guys will repeat our affirmation 3 times, because this is a beautiful one. Love eliminates everything that looks like hate. Love eliminates everything that looks like hate. Love eliminates everything that looks like hate. And now we have a special guest that has come to sing for us from a long way, Kim Andrews.
Thank you for inviting me to sing.
Lean on me. Hold the other.
The other one. I want to feel the love tonight. There's a calm surrender surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of the rolling world can be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. There's a time for everyone if they only learn that the twisting kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. There's a rhyme and reason for the wild outdoors when the heart of this star-crossed voyager beats in time with yours. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best.
Miss Andrews, I believe you have a future here.
I'd love to come back.
Oh, it's so fun to have Kim back in the house. And speaking about people in the house, my dad and his beautiful wife, Susan, are here today. Yes. There is a lovely video that's been circulating that I can't stop thinking about it. And it's one of those silly little animal things, but I love it. And it is a video where there's a shallow pool of water. You've probably seen it. I posted it. There's a shallow pool of water, and there's probably 20 turtles that are about this big that are in the water. And right in the middle is this hapless turtle that's flipped over completely, and it's flailing and it's spinning around in a circle getting nowhere. It is just completely on its back, and it is just spinning around and around. And then as you watch, all of the turtles come to the center. Every one of them turns around and goes to this turtle that's struggling. And one reaches it, and they flip it over, like right away. And I'm thinking, how cool is it that it's instinctual for us to be compassionate, for us to know what to give? That was my first thought. And then I started thinking about how cool, the simplicity of it. Here they all come, and I watched it again, and the first turtle that touches it, the middle turtle just stops. It stops struggling. So did it stop struggling because it knew help had arrived? Did it feel comfortable now? Or, instinctively, did it know that if it kept struggling, it was going to push away the help that came? So there's that moment of pause where we have to allow the answer to come. We have to allow the help to arrive. We have to accept the help and not feel self-conscious about it, because I bet every one of those turtles at some point in their life has or will get flipped over. And they're all going to be there to help when that happens. And I've been thinking about that again this week because a lot is going on right now. I have a lot of friends in serious distress right now, or very, very, very challenging things happening in their world. We know what's going on with Judy, a dear friend of ours, who has had a stroke, and she and her husband are navigating what the world looks like right now as she goes through the process of healing. We have another dear friend that lost her mom yesterday. We have another friend, there's just so many. We have another friend that's in the ICU, intubated with pneumonia. And I have yet another friend who lost her brother a week ago today, who was this just lovely, lovely man with a family, kind, considerate, just like an all-around amazing person. He was walking and he was struck by a car and he was killed. They unexpectedly lost him. The devastation, the heartbreak that family is feeling. Now we have all of the affirmations. We've got all the joy. We know we want to go to joy. We know we don't want to go to fear. We know we want to go to knowing there's healing and wholeness, and that God is still ever present. And it is often that people have a crisis of faith when something that shattering happens in their world, and they're like, where is God in this? And I look at that and I just say, he gave us each other. He gave us all the tools that we need. He, she, the divine being, whatever you call it, the spirit of allness gave us every tool, including each other. Look at the turtles. I mean, really. That there is a divine intelligence that they know to rush in and to be there for each other. And we have that in us if we don't block it. We have that instinct to go be there. How many people came out of nowhere to be a hero, jump into risk their life to jump in to save a stranger that they see as drowning without a second thought? It is our nature to do that. And so where is that? Where is that part of us? And to allow ourselves the time of grieving. Kim is an amazing grief counselor and has a great deal of knowledge about this. But there's that moment of allowing ourselves to feel, and I think as metaphysicians or spiritual people, we sometimes forget to give ourselves that grace, to give ourselves that moment of saying, yes, that hurts. That hurts. When my daughter and I, we lost a dear pet that we'd had for 16 years, and it was the first time she had ever had that sort of loss as a person old enough to wrap her mind around the fact that that animal's life was finished, right? And she just was heartbroken. We sat down and we sobbed together. Because if I had sat there and said, well, and she did this and da-da-da, and tried to pull her right out of it, that would not have been helpful. So we sat and we cried together, and then I said, I know this hurts like hell, but tomorrow is a new day, and it will be easier tomorrow. And the day after that, it'll be a little easier, and the day after that, it'll be a little easier, and there will come a time when you think of her, and the first thing you do is smile. The first thing you do is smile. And there will come that time, and so what I'm saying is I totally believe this bridge is one of my new affirmations in my mind, because I totally believe in a God of good. I believe in a benevolent creator that loves us and provides every single thing we need for today. So let's take Judy as an example. She had a major thing, a life event, right? So if we were to look at that and say, wow, like she needs a moment. We all needed a moment to say, oh my goodness, this happened to Judy. Yes, we needed a moment. And then, of course, that indomitable spirit. And I watched all of you rush in. Everybody rushed in to be there for her in different ways and to be there for Paul in different ways. And is there a doubt in your mind when you see that spirit that she is going to get better every day? You can see it. You can know it. So if you think in this moment we have what we need for this day, and tomorrow we have what we need for tomorrow, and the next day we have what we need for that day, is there lack? Even in Judy, there is a process that's happening that's perfect. She has everything she needs for this process. And so we can look at that today and say, give us this day our daily bread. She is given today her daily bread. What she needs today is here. And part of it is then we ask ourselves, how do we show up in that? How do we show up in the best way? And like the turtles, I'm sure they didn't sit back for 10 minutes and go, now let's see, if I go that way and you go that way. No, they just all came in. And they'll figure it out when they get there. Whoever got there first, there was no hero turtle. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoever arrives, let's just do this. And so sometimes I think you just have to show up, and then you figure it out when you get there. But let your compassion lead. Show up. And then, we can scheme for long-term things when the emergency has passed. But let's just show up. And can we do that for ourselves? By just letting ourselves have a moment. I was contemplating last Easter about the process that Jesus went through. The story goes, at least, that he died on the cross on that Friday and that he went through the suffering, right? Unimaginable. Unimaginable. This great spiritual teacher, right? And then he rises on Sunday. He rises full force on Sunday. Now, the thought crossed my mind, what was going on Saturday? What was going on? Maybe there was a moment that was taken to say, that happened. And I will rise, but let me just be here a second. Now, maybe Jesus didn't need that, but what if he did? Is he less than? Does that take away from the fact that he rose on Sunday? That there was a day in between? And maybe he did that for the disciples, for them to say, oh my gosh, that happened. And where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And so there's a bridge. There's that moment in between. And God is ever present. God is present in that day of tragedy. God is present in the day of breath. That's Holy Saturday. And God is present as we rise in glory. And I totally believe we all will, and we all do, in small ways and big ways, every day. So as these seeming tragedies are happening around us, and I think the most important thing is to show up for each other. Because you and I all know, I'm sure we all have stories in this room of things we've been through and times where we just needed to know someone was there. And they didn't have to speak. Maybe they did and said just the right thing. But just as important were the people that just showed up and hugged. As I go to that service tomorrow to honor this man who passed, I don't have anything in my head. I don't have any agenda of what I'm going to say. It's not, it's not about that. It's about just being present for the people who are there, for the people who are grieving. Can I just bring, my favorite, let me get a tissue. My favorite affirmation that I have these days is about highest self within me. step forward and show me my allness. Step forward and show me who I am and how to show up in this moment. What do I have to give to this situation? How can I be more that? I did an exercise in a workshop where I had people write down what they thought God was, just off the top of their head. God is peace. God is love. God is joy. God is ever present. God is compassion. God is forgiveness. God is healing. And then I looked and I said, please look at your list now. And know that you are that. You are that. And how do I show up more as that? And can I look at my list and say, today, what is the most important thing on that list that I need to know about me today? Do I need to know I'm capable? Do I need to know I'm kind? Do I need to know I'm ever healing? I'm ever stepping forward. I'm ever open to the next step and the next new idea. What do I need to hear today? And the listening, back to what we were talking about last week, to listen, to take that moment. So maybe you're in your Holy Saturday right now, or you know people who are, and they need to cocoon for a minute and get their bearings to the new normal, if you will, but partly to decide what that new normal looks like. We all know when big change happens in our life, we change. But we also know we get to say which way. We get to say, how do we change? We get to say, how do we show up now? What does that mean? I get to say what that means. I get to say what that means in my life. I don't get to say what it means in your life. And when I'm listening to you, I don't want to sit there and say, what is it, what do I think about what you're saying? I need to say, what do you think about what you're saying? Can I hear you? Can I hear your heart? I just think there's a whole new way to show up, and I think it's all about bridging. And I think we have to remember we do never have to carry this alone. That number one, we're way stronger than we've ever thought we were, and you find that out with each of these steps. However, we also were meant to work together. We were meant to work in conjunction. I believe those turtles were built to be able to know how to help each other. Do you see what I'm saying? It's in our DNA. We know how to show up for each other. We just have to make a conscious choice to do so. And the bridging, and we're not meant to carry it alone. And I'll go back to that analogy I gave before about there's the California condor. It's one of the biggest birds that can fly, biggest in North America, I believe. And it has like a 10-foot wingspan. And when it goes to fly, it is so heavy that when it wants to fly these long distances that it's capable of, it can't do it just by flapping its own wings. The way it does it is by rising as much as 15,000 feet into the air and finding the wind and letting the wind carry it. And I think that we have to know, how do we catch the wind? What does that look like for you and me? Where is that? How do we go there? How do we refill? And I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it ties perfectly in with this bridging idea. Where do we go to refill? And there's that wellspring within us, and I think there's one that echoes without. And it says, this something, let me look here. Where is that sacred space within? Where is my Holy Saturday, if you will? Where can I go? Where can I go in me where I find peace? Where do I go where I most feel my strength? Where is that space, and how do I expand it? By visiting it more often, it becomes a well-worn path, right? It becomes easier and easier for me to find that space and expand on it until I can click right into it when I need to. Likewise, that well outside of us. When in doubt, phone a friend, right? our lifeline. Phone a friend. But you have to know who to call, right? And my mom made me laugh one time when she was saying, you know, it's interesting to me who I call when something's going on. She said, when I want someone to say, you're right, and be aggravated with me, then I call so-and-so. And when I want someone to tell me the truth about how I might want to calibrate my thinking, then I know who to call. And we need more of those friends, I think. You know, sometimes we just need to blow off steam, and that's fine, but you don't want to stay there. You want to be able to move forward. You want to be able to step into the next place and the next place. And so the bridging. And so how to be there for ourselves, how to be there for other people. And those affirmations, I'd like to revisit again because I really believe that as metaphysicians, there's so many things where we say, okay, I am standing in truth, I am armed in truth, and this is this, and that is that. And then we judge ourselves if we don't feel equal to that statement. And we have to remember the bridge, to come to God as is in that moment and say, I feel pretty ragged right now. This hurts. And it's to start where you are and say, but I know there is no lack in truth. Help me to see the difference. Help me to see how to get there. How do I breathe? How do I take that moment to get from here to there? How can I let myself see that next step? And that's that Holy Saturday, that cocooning time. The cocooning time. And it doesn't always have to be in major tragedies. I mean, honestly, this is the living, the day-to-day living and recalibration that needs to take place. And as I've said, I love that GPS. Susan and I love the GPS. But I really noticed one time when I was sitting in a parking lot and I was programming it to tell me to go somewhere, it wasn't going to say anything until I made a move. It had to know where I was starting from. And I had to know which direction I was pointing my nose to be able to tell me what to do next. So I think there's that step forward. We have to give the energy that is the all, the signal that we mean business by taking a step, by acting on something. Then we can recalibrate. Then as we're listening, we can hear the voice that says, okay, your next step is this, turn around, go back the other way. Or, yes, keep going, just like that. And then sometimes just the silence. I love that article I was reading that said, silence has a sound. Silence has a sound. And I think that sound is individualized. It sounds different to me than to you, or it sounds different to me today than it did yesterday. Again, it's going to the well. What do I need today? Today I need to go to the well for forgiveness. Maybe of self, maybe of someone else. Tomorrow I may need to go to the well for energy, for stamina. Give us this day our daily bread, to feel it within. And if I'm not quite grasping it on my own in my prayer and meditation, to know what music do I need to go to that gets me fired up? Or what person do I need to call? Or what, you have your songs, you have your playlist, both in your music, your books. We know what fires us up. So using it, but giving ourselves permission to use it. We don't get extra points for suffering. Wow, that's mind-boggling. You don't get extra points for how hard it was. That's a big adjustment in my mind and in my thinking, right? Effort, yes, I think effort counts. In fact, I think that's really all we're in charge of, often the outcome. It's like the guy in that story that had to lay back and go, you know what? I just need to let go. I don't know. He didn't know where that was going to take him, but he knew the struggling didn't work. He saw it on his friend. The struggling didn't help. It wears you out. It's like spinning around like that turtle, flailing, flailing, flailing. But that moment that it understood it was about to be helped, it stopped struggling and allowed the help to come. It would have pushed it away. So if we stay in the struggle and the answers are trying to come to us, we're too frantic to see it or to hear it. And we're just going to keep spinning around. I kind of identified with that guy a little bit. And I had to say, no. There are those moments where I just need to let Spirit or other people, Spirit in other people help me. That's okay. It takes a strong person to let themselves get flipped over. We have to let that happen. And then, of course, there isn't, like I said, no doubt, my time would come to be that person for somebody else, you know. So I love that nature itself has so many answers for us if we just watch. There's so much wisdom because they're not resisting the flow. They're in the flow. By definition, it is their nature to be in the flow, to understand how they move through the world and what their place is. And I think for all of the intelligence that we believe we have, it's something we've sort of moved out of touch with, is how to be in that flow. So what does your wind current look like? Where are you trying to reach? Where are you trying to go? And what's the bridge between here and there? What is the bridge? What steps? We don't have to know every step. That was very enlightening to me. I don't have to know every step. I just need to know the first step. I need to know the first few steps. But as I do it, I gain confidence in my vision and my wisdom and my strength just of moving. And the next step and the next step and the next step comes. So bit by bit, it unfolds. And here we are. Here we are in our allness with everything we need. Everything we need is here today. We are whole, perfect, and complete. We lack in nothing because what we need today, we have today. So let's take that into meditation. So let's relax again together. Can you go to that sacred place within your spirit? That glow that you know you are acquainted with, this glow, this special place within you that reaches out to others, that knows how to be quiet and how to be there with no judgment, with no fear. So many stories are going through my mind of people that showed up for others in ways they needed. Being able to read the situation as best you can, not that we're not going to have mishaps, but hopefully people will see and feel our heart and feel our intention to be a part of their healing, their upliftment, their wholeness, their allness. So interconnected we are. Whether we know it or we don't know it, we are connected to everything. And how exciting to think that all the light that we are and all the light we need is right here, right now. Only in our perception determining our experience. Being willing to let go and let good happen. Divine, highest being within me, how do I step forward and show up as my whole self? Wherever there is an experience of lack, I now know I have the tools for my next step. I know where to go to refill. And I'm ever open to that idea expanding. That I swim in a sea of solutions. It is not one answer, but many. I don't stand in one place, but I allow a new idea to unfold to me every day. Today's answer may be different from yesterday's, because I live in the now. Being present, allowing, being compassionate to myself, being compassionate for each other. I am here. very powerful words to yourself and to others. I am here. Can you tell that child within? I am here. You are safe. You are enfolded in a love that you have barely begun to understand, that it is so incredible and so vast in its nature that the best day you can think of is just an inkling of what you will experience. Because life is ever changing and unfolding and evolving and lifting. And it's an exciting journey. An exciting journey. To soar at 15,000 feet, borne on the wings that give themselves over to the flow, to the wind. So into this energy of healing and wholeness and the knowledge that all needs are met, let's place the names of all the people that we would pray for in this time. You can say them out loud. Eric and his family. Linda, Joan, Debbie, Sean and Charles, and I'm just seeing an image of us all just soaring in the heavens, borne on the wings that understand the flow, and all of them in this moment borrowing our vision as we know love and light and healing and comfort for these ones as they move through this time to the other side of that time and they rise in their glory. So thank you, Mother, Father, God, for each other. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you, God. Okay, so kind of segueing perfectly into gifts. Together, if we would say the celebration of giving, our offertory prayer. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is. And now, the amazing Kim Andrews.
Where's the wave? Sing with me. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Please swallow your pride.
just for fun, for you to know. We did not plan that. How perfect was that to what I had to say? Isn't that wonderful? The turtles were in force. Yes. So, so let's bless all the tithes and offerings that come in. Thank you, God, for the many treasures that these people are and that they bring individually. Their time, their treasures, their talents that converge in this wonderful place that we call our spiritual home. Thank you, God. Okay, and that would be you for announcements.
Just one today. It's good to be back. I missed you all.
We're happy to have you back. Yes. That was your announcement.
I told you I'd forget. So today at 1 o'clock we have our peace gathering. You're invited to stay. Everyone's here. We have lunch for you if you would like to stay for lunch. And then we'll start with a gathering for peace, it's called, where we are going to have meditation, music, and time to talk about how to live peace, how to have peace as a lifestyle, not just as some abstract notion that we think about, talk about, wish for, and cry for. It's time to be peace in our lives. So be here at 1 o'clock. It's always wonderful and peaceful and contemplative, and we have some time of silence together because our consciousness matters. Your individual consciousness joins into the collective consciousness for peace, and that is our work. So we'll see you at 1 o'clock.
Actually, we do have one more message, one more announcement. As you probably know, your Board of Trustees have been working on an emergency preparedness plan. We have investigated several different types of emergencies and come up with how we would lead the congregants, and so now we're ready to share that information with you so that you'll be aware of how you can support this and help us be safer and be prepared. So that will be 2 weeks from today, and it will be after the morning service. Again, we'll have food here, and then we will have, about 12:45 or 1 o'clock, we will start the preparedness training. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And Deborah, you did such a fantastic job. We only have room for one spiritual leader. But, and now that Kim's back. I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Donald Trump, you're fired. No. But I would thank you very much for filling in and doing such a fantastic job for the last 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Now that Kim and Quentin have gotten back from where they were, we're really glad that y'all are back, and y'all seem rested. We'll see how rested you are, but we're really glad to have you back. You were missed. So if you would repeat after me the vision and mission statement. Yes, there we go. We are Unity Spiritual Center Saxe. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers, transforming lives through the love and expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teaching and demonstration of unity principles toward the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us.
All right. So as it's set up there, let your light shine. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for bringing who you are to this room, to this place. And now let's do that out in the world. Bring our whole selves. Namaste.